Welcome to Gettin Biggie with it.
The podcast with an ambitious goal.
To get to know
and play with
every member
of the Baltimore Improv Group. We start with an interview.
Where our goal is to get to know this person beyond the improv.
Yeah, they get 30 seconds to talk improv. And then,
did
I do this wrong?
Ask some questions, take a break, and do some improv with our esteemed guest and some other Baltimore improv pals.
We all leave a little wiser and a little more wonderful.
We do. Hi, Carrie.
Hi. We are. The day I see you not in that chair will be a magical day.
I guess at some point I'll just have to switch it up.
No, it looks really comfortable.
Yeah, but now I just kind of want to bring it the next time I see you in person in like months. I'll just wheel up to you in this chair.
And everything will feel like the new normal.
Indeed. Yeah, that's the normal I want to return to. People have been asking, what normal do you want to return to? The one where we all just wheel around in the office chairs we've been using this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a new one. I did. I'm committing to this working from home, so I need to stop sitting in the antique chair that I've been trying to make work.
Did you get the sleek gamer chair?
I got something kind of like that. It's not that sleek, but I was like, if I'm going to buy something and have it delivered and have to brave the outdoors to go get this package, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Keep everyone posted on my very scintillating chair.
Please do.
I'd
love to hear more from everybody else here. Welcome, everybody. We're going to introduce you real quick. Tell us about how your sitting is going. I feel like we should start with Julia Hall, who said you're in your office. So presumably you have thought about the sitting problem. You were ahead of the game here.
Actually, no, my chair is really squeaky. So I'm trying really hard not to move so that... But I'm in my office. It's where I spend my entire days now.
But
it looks lovely.
Thanks.
Yeah. But you also worked from home previous to this.
Yeah, but it's different when everyone is.
Yeah.
It feels different somehow. And you can't just go to a coffee shop or something like that to kind of break up the day. Now it feels more like a punishment.
that's
rather than before it was like a perk. Now it's like, oh
yeah, you must stay.
Yeah.
I know everyone here is an avid reader of my Facebook wall, but about a week ago I posted a status that was big shout out to everybody who didn't kick me in the mouth when I said, but you get to work from home and that must be nice. And Julia, I want to be clear that I was thinking about you when I said that, because I remember us having a conversation where I said that and you very politely were kind of like, yeah, it's fine. But I like kind of read the situation where I was like, I just said something stupid. So I just want you to know, I feel your pain. I feel your pain and I know my ignorance.
Yeah, now you know. You know.
Julia, above you is Mr. Jason Herbert, who appears to be sitting in a nice, relaxed position, perhaps on the floor. What's happening, Jason?
Well, I am in I'm not quite sure what the use of this room could be described as. But because my wife was on the phone downstairs, I had to figure out somewhere to sit. I thought this would be okay, and the lighting would be better, but the MacBook Air's camera is not as good as I thought it would be. So that's why I look very dark and shady in front of a closet. But I am sitting on like a puff of some. I'm not quite sure what this is called. Comfortable.
I'm sure it's called a puff. I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm comfortable.
You said a puff or a cloth?
Puff. Like a round ball.
A Hufflepuff?
I'm not quite sure what, like knitted? Like a knitted ball, kinda.
Oh yeah, from IKEA?
IKEA sells something similar to these.
Yeah.
I believe this is a Amazon special. Because it was cheap. If you can imagine, I didn't buy this, but like knitted puff ball thing.
You probably registered for it for your wedding.
No, this was definitely, well, there was a item something like this, didn't get it, but I would just say someone I live with really wanted one. So we got these cheap ones that I would say that they have definitely lost most of their size. So now you have to sit on a pillow and the puff for it to be comfortable.
That kind of defeats the purpose of the puff.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to throw away this puff quite yet because we did spend money for it. So I'm sitting on a puff and a owl pillow.
And
I'm happy you know so much about my sitting arrangement now.
No, I'm glad that I do, Jason. I'm fascinated by a lot of things here, and I feel like it would take the whole episode to unpack them. But I just want to say I love that you don't understand the use of this room, and that you don't fully understand the puff that you're sitting on. And I like that you described it to us in an age of improv where you could just show it to us. You committed so hard to the object work of the theater of the mind that instead of showing us with the MacBook Air's camera, you just described it. I loved that experience.
There's also a theme of not wanting things to go to waste because they're paid for. So that's very interesting of you.
Yeah, I feel like we'll get into that in the improv. We're going to save our guest for last, of course. So,
Of course.
Maggie Fennessy, down below, Carrie. Hello, how are you, Maggie?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me. How are you guys?
Doing well. Maggie,
yeah, I'm in a new apartment. I just moved in on Thursday, and I've been doing my online teaching from various chairs that have better internet access.
Gotcha. And this chair seems to have the premium internet access for you?
It's closest to my router. I don't know. I truly just need to get rid of this Chromebook from 2017 because it's very bad.
God, so you're on the opposite side of Julia, not only visually, but also in the world of preparedness to work from home. You've just moved into a new home. I can't imagine that you have like a good idea of where you want to online teach yet. Like,
yeah, not totally. When my about 6 months ago, after my grandfather passed away and my mother cleaned out her childhood home, I got their old desk. So I have this kind of cool old pull down fold top desk that, like Jason, I won't show you. I'll just make you imagine it. And I did my first online teaching there, but it didn't quite work for the kids to be able to hear me. And so I was getting a lot of frantic texts like, "You're lagging, your volume is lagging." So this seems to work a little bit better.
Great. I love it. And below me, Mr. Michael Harris.
Our guest of honor.
Our guest of honor. Now, Mike, your situation, you've got like this nice like light coming from the side, almost kind of like a stage feel. You're leaning up against the seat. This is like a nice, I don't know, it feels like a good...
I want to look like I'm being interrogated behind the communist block circa 1986.
Oh, wow.
I went for it, swung for it. But again, like you said, in a very friendly way. Like, yeah, exactly.
I could see us almost like this is a communist interrogation, but it's almost like a first date too, right? There's a little bit of notes of both.
We may hire this guy later.
Yeah. Either way, people are going to know each other better when the conversation's over.
Yeah. I'm just trying to hide certain elements of my body. Best I can. I do what I can.
Leaving it open.
One thing hasn't changed, Mike Harris.
Yes. There it is.
All right. Well, Mike, we are going to start as we always do.
Yes.
And improviser pals, feel free to jump in with questions at any time. But Mike, you are going to get 30 seconds to tell us how you got into improv. I'm going to do it in the high-tech way of bringing this camera up. It's going to be backwards for you. It's going to be fun.
Got it.
And you have 30 seconds to tell us how you got into improv. And then after that, we just want to know about the rest of it. We want to know about who Mike Harris is beyond the improv. So your time is going to start now.
Okay. Part one, between 1993 and 1996, while at Haverford College in Philadelphia, I was in a sketch comedy troupe called The Lighted Fools. And eventually we started doing bits and pieces of improvisation. It was not good. It was not good. We didn't really know what we were doing. There was no way to train. We didn't know what was right or wrong, but that's what we did. I didn't do improv for about 7 or 8 years. Then in Baltimore, I went to an audition for Big. because of Prescott Gaylord, because he was working with Brad Rogers as a business companion. They were running a business together. They both wanted to go, and so I got dragged along because Brad and I knew each other from Haverford, and the rest is slowly made history.
Fantastic. That was 45 seconds. I'm gonna let it slide. I feel like
You're a good man.
Like there was a devilishly handsome reflection of both of us on the camera. So I imagine that you were probably just taken by that.
No one
I
was
was
listening to
distracted
the
by our
story.
movie, yes.
Yeah. So 7 to 8 years of not doing improv. What was that time filled with?
I was just doing regular scripted acting, and I had my first couple of actual professional jobs, mostly educational theater. So going around and doing, like, all that crappy stuff you saw when you were in 3rd, 4th, 6th grade. Hey kids, drugs, those aren't good, right? Let's tell them a story. We had a show in which each one of the actors had to sing a song that was referenced to some famous musician, the Mariah Carey sounding song, the this sounding song. I got the Eddie Vedder Pearl Jam
song,
yes. Which was easily the luckiest one because all you had to do was go, that's all you had to do.
You don't even have to learn the lyrics.
No, not at all. They were actually a waste of time. Whereas the other poor folks, like literally this young woman who was not a singer, she was an actress, had to go up and introduce herself as, I'm about to sing the Mariah Carey sounding song, and then do the best she could in front of the world's kindest audience, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
So, Mike, tell us some about that experience. That you allude that 6th, 7th, and 8th graders are not great audiences there. Have in what ways, if you care to delve into it, were you heckled by middle school students?
Well, we had a show. The show about sexual harassment was not a terrible show, but someone had thought it was a good idea to let them decide what positions to put people in to demonstrate. Yeah, so you got a lot of bend her over, which is as classy as it sounds. And if the schools were most of the schools, they're in control, the teachers are in control, they can shut that down. But there were schools where the teachers had lost. In fact, that they had gone so far, as they say, as to join the other side, and they were now sort of on the student side.
You've been heckled by teachers at these things. Is that what I'm hearing?
Entire schools.
Oh yeah. Well, and the other fun part was, because it was in the Midwest, you'd go to like some farming town of 80 people, and you'd have to do a 10-minute discussion with one of the principals about, in a play about bullying, do you really need to call them a turd? And then you'd go to Milwaukee, and they say, like, look, if y'all don't start calling each other motherfuckers, these kids are not going to pay attention. So we couldn't win. Like, no matter what we were doing, we were either we were considered entirely too adult or entirely too childish. Pretty much no matter what we did.
Did you get along with everyone you were doing this with? Because I feel like all you had was each other.
Yes. No, it definitely created we had a platoon. We were in the foxhole. Yeah. Especially since we're driving around in the winter in Minnesota and Wyoming primarily, or Minnesota and Wisconsin, the other W state, or one of many. But we're driving around in basically just like a rider van. Like, that's all, a rider truck with all the stuff in the back, and kind of heat, but not really, you're freezing and cold. You get up at 5 a.m, you drive for 2.5 hours. You go in and then do a show up in whatever, the Iron, as they call it, the Iron Range of northern Minnesota, up in Fergus Falls or something. And then you do your show or your 2 shows. Then you pack it out, drive 100 miles somewhere else, do it again, drive back to the Twin Cities, get home at 6 or 7 o'clock, do it again the next day.
So okay, so this was regional. You were living in that area at
living
the
in
time?
the Twin Cities, but yeah, driving around. Although I will say it was very good. It disabused me of a lot of uh, pretentious actory stuff that I had picked up in college. You know, because in
Like what?
college you do all this. In college you
Such
do all this
as?
like, you know, I've got to listen to the same music. I've got to prepare myself. I have to get into a certain mental state. I'm going to spend 4 hours before every show. And this stuff, it was more like, okay, guys, we're 30 minutes late when we got there. We still have to build the set and do 2 shows and be somewhere else in 2 hours. Go. And so you kind of get to the point of like, what's my process now? I walk out there and do it. And that was probably good.
So, was it always for you, Mike, that you wanted to be an actor, that you wanted to study this, that you wanted to do this?
Not until I got to college. I wanted to replace Magic Johnson as point guard for the Lakers. That didn't work out, though I did make a full 5'9", so I'm proud of that. And I made it all the way to very mediocre high school basketball player. So it was so close. That didn't pan out. I thought I wanted to be a coach for a little while. Didn't like my high school coach, so they kind of gave up on that. And then for a long time, I wanted to be a columnist. So talk about having a obsolete job. I wanted to be a newspaper columnist. And then got into acting when I got to college.
And so that was your first experience of acting? Did you ever act before that?
Not until college. Yeah, the first thing I did was a sketch that I wrote as part of the Lighted Fools at Haverford College, and it was about a suicidal children's TV host named Cowboy Carl, whose wife was cheating on him, and so he had a to be fair, more explanation. The Lighted Fools are called Lighted Fools because of a soliloquy from Macbeth. And because of that, it started out as a sort of pretentious-y, artsy theater company. And then after about a year, it turned into a sketch comedy. So you can tell how serious we were about it. But the thing about it was, the one holdover from that was, it was a requirement for the first year or two that the first sketch always had to incorporate that soliloquy. So I had a suicidal guy come out, quote some Macbeth, and then go off and unsuccessfully shoot himself in the head. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, is comedy. When you're 18 and a half or whatever the hell I was then.
Yeah. Now this soliloquy that you're talking about from Macbeth, is that the Tomorrow and Tomorrow?
Yep.
Yeah.
She should have died hereafter. There
Yeah.
would have been time for such a world tomorrow. Yep.
That's
the one.
a pretty hard one to fit in.
Yeah,
there.
it doesn't. Yeah, it's really, of all the things to hold over from when you were a theater company, when you go comedy, that was probably not the best choice.
It's like, can we just have one quote from Macbeth? How am I going to hammer
like,
that?
Nope, we are going to rigidly shove this soliloquy into a sketch. And it's not a short soliloquy.
It's not. Yeah.
So
you gotta stand out. You gotta stand out from those other sketch troops.
Yes, indeed. So that was charming.
But
yeah, that's where it started. And then once I did that, I got into it. So then it was sketch comedy, and I started doing plays. Haverford doesn't have a theater department, but Bryn Mawr down the road did. So went and did plays down there and did plays back home and stuff like that. That's how I kind of got into it.
And was it like something when you were there that you were like, that sounds fun, or was it the people that attracted you to it?
I knew I wanted to try acting and comedy in particular when I got there. But I didn't know that I was going to get quite so hooked on it and decide that by the time I was 19 or 20, like, okay, well, this is what I want to do.
Is that why when you wanted to be a columnist briefly, was that going to be an outlet for humor, or did you have something else in mind?
No, mostly humor. The columnists that I liked were mostly, I mean, every once in a while they'd make a serious point or tell a sweet story or maybe use it to complain about something. But yeah, most of the people I like, Louis Grizzard, who's long dead, but was a Southern columnist in Atlanta for decades, was like, those are the kind of people. And yeah, most of the time it was just, basically it was a stand-up routine written out and put in a newspaper as much as anything. Yeah.
So what was comedy always a big part of your life? Because it sounds like even though you didn't get to acting and everything until college, it sounded like comedy was something you were focused towards. Do you remember where that started?
Yeah, I do. And of course now it sounds horrible, but my mom had all the old Bill Cosby records. So that was totally, that was like 100%, like, not just like about the time that, Bill Cosby himself came out, was about the time we found all my mom's old records. And so listened to like Why Is There Air, Togetherness, and all those. And yeah, it was brilliant. My brother and I like recorded little like fake radio shows on cassette players and did like made up little sketches and made up, commercials and stuff like that. And I'm sure they're horribly not funny and weird, but yeah, that's where it started, was very much Bill Cosby, which is why it was very depressing it's very sad about 5 years ago. But and then from there, just, I really wanted to be a writer as much as anything. Certain writers just popped out to me. Louis Grizzard was one. Langston Hughes was one. There's just certain people, for whatever reason, you'd read certain, everybody, we got our own thing. You read certain writers and they just, for whatever reason, something about how they express themselves attracts you in a way that other people don't. That kind of thing. But yeah, so that was kind of where it was. But mostly now I wanted to be an athlete. I just was mediocre at it.
You tried, right?
Hey, there was effort. There was no doubt there was effort. I once was a halfway decent athlete, but that was a while ago.
Writing is typically the fallback career.
Yeah. No.
Can't play sports, I'll write about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't run, right. Yeah.
There it is. Well,
thing.
Indeed. Yeah, if you can't escape from someone, try to make them laugh. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Charm your way out of it.
That's exactly what it was.
So it sounds like you've moved around a bit because did you grow up in Texas or?
I did. I grew up in Lubbock, Texas. Texas. Yeah, I was born in Florida. Most of our relatives still live in Florida. Born in Fort Lauderdale. We lived a bunch of different places there. Because my dad you would think he was in the military as much as the man has moved around in his life, but he's not. He's just a restaurant manager and chef who, I guess, like every about 9 to 15 months gets bored. And so we lived in like 5 or 6 different places by the time I was 5. And it was just Lubbock was where we happened to be when he and my mom got divorced. And I still think it's mostly because of how little money my mom had at that moment. Otherwise, I suspect we would have gone back to Florida because that's where her family was. I'm not sure to this day completely why we stayed in Lubbock. I would assume it was not enough gas to get back to Florida. But yeah, but then once we were there, we lived in Lubbock until I graduated high school, except for 9 months. We moved back to Florida once. And then since we left there, I don't know, I've lived a couple of different places. I mean, I went to school in Philly. Heidi and I lived in the Twin Cities and in Bemidji, which is a tiny frozen village up in northern Minnesota.
It's fun to say.
Bemidji.
Bemidji, yeah, it sounds right. It sounds like some place where you can freeze for 6 months, and it was. And then St. Augustine, Florida, and then eventually worked our way up to Maryland and then to Baltimore. But that's it. So some places, not as many as it seems, maybe.
And what made you decide on Baltimore? What made you decide to stay here?
Things just started to click. Certain things were happening. Heidi was working as a physical therapist. Baltimore was a place where I knew I needed to get more serious actor training if I wanted to actually do it professionally, but I also knew that an MFA was a dumb investment because it costs about $30,000 or $40,000 a year, 2 to 3 years, and no guarantee. You know, I would talk to people even when I was in college. I talked to people at MFA programs. Was like, yeah, this guy over here, he paid off his entire MFA on the first movie job he got, which he got while he was still in school. See her over there? She's been working at the same gift shop she's been working at for 10 years after school, and hasn't used her degree at all. So that made me think, you do not want to spend a lot of money on an acting degree. So fortunately, there was a nice little school down in DC. Didn't have to pay that much, got to do some real training, and it made a big difference in understanding acting and just being able to be a hireable actor.
So. That's what, I mean, obviously in the current climate, pretty difficult, but yeah.
Well, yeah, there's nothing right now, but I think that's true for a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, yes, there are no theaters open, nobody's filming, and the other thing I do is teach improv in school and teach Shakespeare in school. So that's not happening either. But again, I'm hardly the only person down in that little rut. And kind of like Maggie talked about, you know, I get to do occasional online teaching, which isn't horrible, but it's not great acting teaching either. Or I don't know, any kind of teaching. It's preferable to be in the room, but especially this. But yeah, I mean, the good news is, here's the thing. I always tell people, if you want to be an actor and you want to make a living just performing, you can, but there's a very small percentage of people that even people who are really good. But you can definitely make a living at least just being in acting or being in art. That is absolutely, you can do it, whether it's you do some administrative work, or you do some teaching, or you do some whatever it is, you do other things. And that's totally doable. And so I'm lucky, you know, I get to do things that I like.
And so is that what you're like? So say we aren't quarantined right now. Is that what your world kind of looked like? You're a little bit of an administration over here, a little bit of teaching over here.
Yeah. What I would, if we weren't right now, for the last several weeks, I would have done I think 2 improv residencies in schools, 1 Shakespeare residency. I was in a play, and I was teaching a class for Big. So I'd have been doing all of that and being very busy. So actually, it's not been the worst thing in the world to be a lazy person.
Take a minute,
usually you can book about, at least me, other people do much better than I do, but usually I can book about 2 months of work at any one time. But that's about as far out as I usually get anyway. So
gotcha. And do you still love it? Is it still everything that you want to be doing?
Yeah. I mean, like anybody else, I would love to be just performing. I would love to be performing more. But I dig teaching too. It is a lot. Almost everybody here on this call this wonderful podcast, visual podcast, has done teaching, done coaching, and you know, it's rewarding. It's really rewarding to work with people and see them get excited and see them have success is also rewarding. Yeah. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I'll trade getting a laugh. I'm a whore. I mean, I will trade getting a big laugh over I helped somebody. But
you were my first improv teacher, Mike.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mike was my 201 teacher.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Mike was my hodgepodge 301, 401 teacher.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh,
yes, it was a hodgepodge of a class, but I got something from it. I'm not sure.
As long as you change one life.
Yeah, there it is. And now I get to perform with all these people, and that's the other part that's really fun. You see people develop, and the next thing you know, they're great and they're doing wonderful and they're super funny, and you get to play with them, and you go, "Oh, they're so awesome!" And that is as much fun as anything. Is like. Because I don't remember I've taught at this point so many I don't remember. You could lie to me. You could tell me, "Hey, Mike, you remember that time when you let everybody in class take off their clothes?" I'd be like, maybe. It sounds wrong. It doesn't sound like something I should have said yes to, but okay, maybe I did. I don't know. But yeah, but just seeing people develop and seeing people, do their own thing is also a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Is there a dream role you'd like to play one day, performance-wise?
There's lots. I mean, there's lots of things that I'm interested in. I'm hopefully going to get to do Macbeth in next winter. I'm supposed to be doing it with the theater, but again, assuming that theater company exists in a year, so we'll see. But there's a lot of plays for sure. But oh gosh, if I was trying to pick one, I would love to play Pseudolus in Something Funny Happened on the Way to the Full. That I would like to do.
I can see you playing that part.
You would be great in that.
Anything Zero Mostel does is like, that's right for me, because Zero's like, he's like me. He's like chunky, funny guy, sings okay, but not a great singer. It's like, if Zero could sing it, I'll be okay. So, but he was a hell of an actor. But anyway, yeah, like again, yes, let's say that's the one.
Great. Yeah, let's put it out there in the universe.
Yeah. I on the internet verse.
Yes.
The interverse.
That's what people call it. Mike, this has been lovely. We're going to get to the improv in just a second, but of course we're going to ask you the question we ask everyone who comes on this podcast. Who would you like to learn more about at the Baltimore Improv Group?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people so I'm going to try, because I watch the show and listen to the show every week, so I've memorized.
Good.
So I'm gonna pick somebody
like a true actor.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would love to find out more about Harold Young.
Harold has been on the podcast before.
Yeah, episode 10.
He was in the episode where we asked everyone to take their clothes off. You remember that one?
Oh, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
Great episode.
Yeah.
Goodness. So there's other people. Yes, other people I would like to know more about. There's many.
Just Harold. You
actually,
he's the only one.
He's the only one.
All right. You know what? No, because actually, I'm just going to call Harold, and I'm going to find out what I need to know. Now, him, I think you have had on the show, but Andy McIntyre is another person.
Mm-hmm. Andy has been on the show.
How many people total have y'all talked to?
You are 58, I believe.
Oh, wow. This is going to be...
Yeah.
This is going to be a hard one to pull.
For everyone watching and listening, we did offer Mike to show a list before we went live. And he said, no, it'll be
great. Mike went stampeding like an idiot right into this. And,
he asked for this situation.
And now I've ruined the show because I've brought it to a screeching halt. Because I'm going to keep picking names you've already got done.
Well, Mike, we have done it before where we can do the improv and we can come back to the question at the end.
All right. Why don't we do that before I take up the next 20 minutes of your show?
Sounds great. Guys, we're going to take a break for the audio for when I make this into the podcast. We're not going to actually take a break now, but if everybody just wants to take like a second of not saying anything and like just get into a nice like fancy break pose.
Okay.
And we're back.
We're back.
Maggie, what is your dream role?
Oh my God. Friend. No, what a horrible answer.
Friend in rom-com.
Girl at party 4.
Yes. Oh, friend in a rom-com is my dream role because I want to like wear all my hair on the top of my head and wear like an insane outfit and eat Chinese food out of the container and drink a whole bottle of wine.
Star. Yeah, the real star is the friend who's like way more interesting than the lead woman.
I feel
I have no name and no personal life.
Right.
I feel like the friend is the repository for all of the quirks that the writers wanted to give the main character, and Hallmark was like, no. No, and they're like, okay, we'll just move that over to this bin.
Or like Kate Hudson can't eat that messily, but her friend can. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's my dream role.
I think like it's the one the writers identify with. The friend is what I mean. Like that's the one they really pour into. That's why it's a good role.
Yeah, for sure.
Julia, how about
Great.
you? Dream role. We know
Yeah,
you've played Lady Bracknell in the past. One
that
of
was a
many
dream
on the
role.
podcast.
That was a dream
Yeah.
role. Another play I did in high school was A Midsummer Night's Dream. And I wanted to play like a glamorous role like Helena or Queen Titania, and they made me Peter Quince. So maybe one of the more glamorous roles in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Peter Quince is a great part.
It's the voice of reason role for sure. Yeah.
Great, love it. Jason, same question.
Well, I've never been in any play past kindergarten, so
great play.
But for some reason, you said dream role. The first thing I thought about, and I'm sure Mike will be the only person who knows this role, is Sidney Dean from which is the Wesley Snipes, White Man Can't Jump.
That's fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why that popped in my head, but
good stuff.
But being alongside Woody Harrelson, aka Billy Hoyle, in a basketball movie that really has like 4 or 5 storylines that don't really make sense together, but all put in the same pot made a great movie. So I guess my dream role at this point in time is Sidney Dean.
Love that. The light on Julia's face changed in the telling way that she opened up another window, and I'm gonna guess that she was just looking up the movie White Man Can't Jump.
Someone was messaging me. I had a messenger tab open, so I wanted, because it was dinging too much.
Yeah,
so
I had to close mine too. Okay, that all right.
Sorry.
Well, we're gonna start the improv. And anything is fair game. Anything that we talked about, we're going to do a swarm or a montage. It's called different things, but basically anything can happen. If you want to cut the scene and start a new one, you say
scene.
If you want to cut to a different thing that's happening in the same world of the current scene, you say
cut to.
And if you want to scene paint something for the scene, you say
we see here a white man who can't jump.
Great. Love it. And the improv starts
now.
My friend, comrade, sit down.
Well, all right. Hey, man, I just, hey, you lead, I'm going to follow. You know what I mean?
Yes. Now, you understand that the Gulag has got a bad rep.
You know what?
So,
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't heard good things, but I want to lay it out for me. Give me the pitch.
I know. So this is going to be a more friendly gulag.
Oh.
So yes, you will work for hours and hours and hours,
Okay.
and you may die in the process. But you will sing songs the whole time.
Wait a minute. We get to sing?
Yes.
The whole time. See, that was not on the original brochure. I mean, we talking show tunes? What are we talking about, baby?
Yes, all the show tunes you want. Now, you must remember, work cannot stop at any time.
Sure.
You will be punished by death if you stop working.
Oh.
But you will have an Italian icy once every 17 hours.
Wait a minute. How many hours do I have to work without stopping?
14.
And then, so basically, 1/4 into my second shift, bang, Italian icy's waiting for me?
One Italian icy. Only one. If you get 2, you will die immediately.
Sure. No, hey, I understand diabetes. It's a bitch. Now, what's the flavor?
Russia.
Oh, man, once you put your lips on Russia, you know you're living right.
Calm down. If you like it too much, you will die.
Something revolting.
Stop singing. You're not working yet. You're not working.
I'm sorry. I'm excited to work, sir.
You will die.
Oh.
Okay, so are you ready for this more friendly gulag?
I am. I gotta be honest. It's the gulag I've been waiting for all my life.
You sound way too excited to be in the gulag.
Well, you're a hell of a salesman. I mean, I just want to put that right out front.
Hell is the word I'm looking for.
Okay, fair enough. But I tell you, you give a man flavored ice and a chance to sing his favorite songs, you got a friend for life, my man.
I'm glad you like it. Now here's your pickaxe painted pink. Get to work.
My color.
Theme.
Okay. So you've seen the dining room. You've seen the foyer. Very spacious backyard. I know that was something that you were looking for.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we plan to have several children.
I think this will be perfect for that. Now, there is one more room that I want to show you. I'm going to take you in here, and it is the room.
What did he say, sweetie?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again, sir?
Yeah. So this room you'll notice it's a little oddly shaped. The walls kind of cut in strange angles. There's a lot of sharp turns, but I think it would be perfect for you guys to just set up your own little
I didn't catch.
Yeah, we really want an extra bedroom. You know, we are growing our family and we're working from home sometimes, and maybe if we could get like a painting studio, that would be great. But I don't know what you mean with you're being very coy in a way that's off-putting to me.
It sounds like it's something bad.
Well, just come in and see the room, and you'll see that it would make a perfect little bedroom.
Ow! The walls are so sharp.
Yeah, Jesus. What are these made out of?
Fiberglass mostly, but it's all FDA approved, I promise. Everything is fine. You'll notice that the windows are like a little, it's described as being askance, but I think that it's just like a little bit of flavor. I think that this is a perfect room. I don't think that it's going to cause...
I have to cut you off. I'm so sorry. Do you not hear that haunting scream of a faraway child ghost? Is that what you're hiding?
I mean, is it so far away?
Okay. Your answer wasn't immediately no.
Right.
This is worrisome.
I've been here for so many.
Okay, why does everyone keep trailing off at the end of their sentences?
Honestly, I'm more worried about the ghost, not how long he or she has been there.
Can I go out on a limb here for a second? You
Sure.
two...
You fell down. Are you okay?
The walls here are so uneven. I just can't get sure footing. I'm so sorry.
Sure, I know it's a little odd. I know that all of the other houses that I've shown you have not had a room that quite looked like this. And I know that it might be a little intimidating, but I think that if you really think about it and embrace it, this space could be really inviting, and it could be really unique, and it could add a lot of character to your lives. And sure, there's a chandelier that I'm pretty sure is made of human remains, but like character, right?
See, this is in our budget, and it's in one of our top 3 neighborhoods.
I know the schools here are really great, and it has a high walk score.
The schools have been great since 19...
Cut to this couple teaching their first child how to read in this room.
So let's sound it out, okay? It's
Mom, I want to go anywhere but here. Can you just take me anywhere but here?
Honey, this is your room.
I know. Please, I've been so good. Can't I move out now?
No, this is our space for you to learn and grow. And
why? What will I do after I learn and grow?
Oh, you'll get a job doing.
See,
just like me.
Oh man.
Dr. Collins, before we go out there for the seminar, can we talk about what you're gonna say? Because I don't like, you're going a little off script. Last time we talked to all the patients, you said diabetes, it's a bitch. And I don't think that's professional.
Can you deny that diabetes is a bitch?
Well, no, I'm not. That's not the point. There's a lot of things.
Look, diabetes is a bitch. Herpes is a motherfucker.
Yeah, you said that.
Jaundice sucks a rabbit's cock. I mean,
right.
these are facts. I don't know.
Dr. Collins, can I just cut in for just a
sure.
second?
Yeah, no, please.
Listen, I know that kind of talk is going to play with the Detroit doctors, right? I know that you're speaking to their level, but I mean, sir, we are in Oklahoma right now. Yeah. And these doctors, I don't know that they're going to really respond to that kind of language.
I don't have to. Okay, so fine. But the last time I was here and I said, herpes, it's like a mean bunny for your insides, they didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. They started giving these people, they just told these people to stop eating carrots. They thought that would stop feeding the herpes. There's a herpes epidemic from Stillwater all the way to Norman. Now, most of that is just the college kids, but that's what Oklahoma does. That's what Oklahoma has. I need to tell Oklahoma to respond. What would you say? If herpes is not a motherfucker, what is it?
Oh, okay. I've seen a lot of people out there just doing the sign of the cross. All right. So maybe, I know we're doctors and we're going off book here, but maybe just appeal to their belief in the Lord, and don't do any cursing, and don't be that blunt, and just say, if you want that great spiritual life, maybe you just play it safe. Right.
So, herpes is lip Judas. What are we telling these people?
No. So I'm with it. Like the sign of the cross and everything like that. I mean, these are probably we are like somewhere in the Bible Belt, I believe. And I think that these people would really respond to leprosy. They read the Bible. They understand the affliction of a serious disease. Maybe go with that angle, and maybe not say, you pieces of shit, don't be touching each other's uglies or you'll get all kinds of bumps, you bitches.
Yeah, that was a really bad. That was an exceptionally bad day.
Okay, again, in my defense, the sixth graders cried, but the seventh graders really seemed to take to that message.
Hey, cut to Dr. Collins with the patient. Dr. Collins, I'm so happy you could see me. I've been praying for the past 28 hours because I'm somewhere in the Bible Belt.
Yeah. So
I'm very responsible sexually, but I must say there are things popping up in places I'm not sure about.
Right.
And, I prayed about it, and it brought me here, Dr. Collins. So can you diagnose what's going wrong? What's wrong with me?
Yeah, you got devil sodomy. Shit. Okay. No, wait.
Oh, excuse me, Dr. Collins. I have not been in any type of sodomy or unholy or unfaithful sexual relations at all. Okay, me and my wife have missionary sex for 5 minutes every other week, the way the Lord intended.
Okay, you're right. It's not devil sodomy. You've got a slight case of the flu. Flu is what they call it, or as we like to call it, you've been finger banged by a demon. Oh, this is more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Nurse!
I have not allowed a demon in my bedroom in the past 25 years, okay? I forgot that time that a demon's in my bedroom. So no, this is not that. Please, give it to me straight, Dr. Collins. I need to know why I have these rashes around my mouth and around my private areas.
Yes, okay. Oh, good, no, God, I can't believe I gave my nurse the day off today. So you've got, what we like to call it is, you've been touched by St. Peter, but not by St. Paul.
See.
Now you understand. Okay. Well.
So our new sketch group here at Haverford, we've gotten rid of the lighted fools. They were inspired by Macbeth. This one, we're gonna need every sketch to include some kind of 90s R&B lyric. Okay, guys, so that's gonna include Boys to Men, Casey and JoJo. If you want to get into New Jack Swing, that's okay, but make it funny and make it bring you that 90s flair. Okay, you guys have really wanted to be in this sketch group, right? It is it is the 90s here at Haverford. It's Philly. It's a great time. So I'm gonna need some R&B.
You'll always be my baby if you laugh at my jokes. Is that a good one? Sketch master.
Nice.
I mean, it's a start. It's great for a freshman. It's great for a freshman. We'll allow it for a freshman.
Hey, I want to be in this group because I don't want to be just sitting up in my room. It's Brandy.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of women, although Always Be My Baby with Mariah Carey. But yeah, we'll take it. Again, you guys are really coming in hot with the puns. Let's see if we can get it into our sketch content now. But again, very good for freshmen. Very good for freshmen.
Listen, as a senior, I was a member of the Lighted Fools. You might remember them.
We fucking remember, Rick.
And I just want to say that as a member of the Lighted Fools, I'm a professional. I can change up whenever I need to. And,
thanks, Rick.
I was going to quote Midsummer Night's Dream, but instead, I will cherish you for better or worse till death do us part. I'll love you with every bit of my heart.
Oh, thanks, Rick. That doesn't really apply to our conversation here now, but I'm glad you're able to adapt. That's good actors training.
So, Sketchmaster.
Yeah,
I'm a big Keith Sweat fan. Is there a problem with his kind of being shaky on consent?
We don't love it.
You say no, I say yes. Girl, I bet I can make you sweat. And now here's the puppets. They're funny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. And again, thanks everybody for calling me Sketchmaster and not my legal name, which is Neil. It's a very boring name. I agree with you. I think that if, we want these sketches to really stand the test of time, as all great sketch comedies should. Yeah.
Who calls you Neil? Nobody.
Excellent freshman number one.
Also,
I was Keith Sweat.
Callback, right? Right, Sketchmaster Neil.
Cut to one of these. Cut to one of these sketches. So, I suppose that I'm your driving instructor. So if you'll just go ahead and switch the car into gear.
Why don't we drive to the end of the road?
End of the road!
Oh, incredible Lighted Fools. I'm sorry I had to come out from the wings in the basement here of the student union and just tell you guys that was fucking incredible. It was really great, guys.
You crying, Neil?
Yeah, I'm crying, okay? I'm graduating soon.
That's your prerogative.
I just want to say I think we're doing very important work. What we're doing matters.
Who cries like sketches like Neil? Nobody.
Scene.
I love that. That's like, are we starting a new scene?
I want to, but we can end it.
No,
right
Jason, start a new scene. Go.
Mike, you know what? You were so excited about playing basketball, and I'm so happy to have you here. But I'm
thrilled myself. What's up?
It's one problem, Mike.
Yeah, Mr. Dean, what is it?
Yeah, you have a 40-inch vertical, and
I do.
Yes, and the name of Colonial's high school team is the White Men Can't Jumps. So even though you would be the best player on the team, because your ability is completely against what we stand for.
Sure.
We got to cut you, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, so first of all, Mr. Dean, Coach Sidney.
Yeah, well, Mr. Dean, please.
Mr. Dean, okay, Mr. Dean, sir. Yeah. I'm sorry. I did not mean, I thought I was just trying to be even with everybody else. That's why I bought those special shoes with the big tops on the front, and those, it stretches out your Achilles tendon so you can jump higher. I wore those for 2 years.
I know, and any other team, it would be appreciated. But
hey, Dean, sorry to interrupt. I know this is a difficult conversation for you to be having. I just wanted to let you know I didn't hit any of the free throws. I was just practicing for like an hour. I didn't get any of them done. But I did write you a touching novella I remember you saying that you were considering proposing recently. So it's in your locker room. But I'm sorry, Coach. I fucked up. I didn't hit any of this.
Rodney. It doesn't matter how many shots you make or miss. It doesn't matter if you can play no defense. You can jump. So you're always welcome on this team. And
Dean. Hey,
and the fact that you wrote me a beautiful poem, you'll be starting this year. Thank you so much.
Mike.
Clearly, I don't understand the game of basketball, Mr. Dean, but I have two possible solutions. Now, one of them seems really bad, but Greeks, I'm Greek. Greeks were not considered white until about 1947. Is there anything we can do with that?
If this was 1946,
you'd
be the best player on the team.
One other question, Mr. Dean. Could we go with a sort of a Juana Man situation? If white men can't jump, but if white women can, no.
Listen, okay? You had to take that up with Cheryl Miller, the coach of the
Miller.
But here on the boys basketball team, I'm sorry. On the white men can't jumps, we can't have you on the team. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you for being honest with me, Mr. Dean. But I'm going to go home and help my girlfriend study so that she can be on Jeopardy, and do the best that I can with that.
If that's her Mount Vesuvius, help her climb it.
Cut to that. Hey, Mike, I really appreciate this. I'm trying to study. You're just jumping. You're just jumping.
Look. Just if you can name 10 foods that start with Q while I am jumping. Hold on, let me get a really good jump.
Mike, oh my God.
And I'm just hanging here.
I'm so
just hanging here.
I know.
Name 10 Q foods while I'm hanging here.
How can I focus on Q foods when I'm looking at your extraordinary jumping, Mike?
This jumping can go as long as it needs to for you to name 10 foods.
Okay, quiche.
1.
Cut to this person on Jeopardy. Stop listing things. This is not how it's played. I don't know how you got here.
Okay, it's just my boyfriend is in the audience right now. He's up in the lights.
Man who won't.
Hi, Alex. Hi.
No, who is embarrassed? It's me, Alex Trebek.
I'll
see.
I liked that. Jason, thank you for not letting me stop the improv there. I loved that so much. Guys, we're going to wrap up today. Thank you all for being here. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We're going to quickly do some plugs. If you have anything going on that you would like to plug and give a shout out to, now's the time. I want to give a shout out to the lovely little video that I saw Jason and Carrie make on quarantines. Your quarantines.
That was Jason's brainchild. So kudos to Jason's video. Quarantine videos continue.
Yeah, loved it.
Thank you.
Nice.
That was fun. Yeah.
That was my plug.
Cool. Thanks.
Well, if you like quarantine or want to see me make an ass of myself, you can find me on Instagram at 3rdseed, 3RDSEED. I'm sure I'll make other things. They may not be funny at all, but if you are bored and need something to pass 60 seconds of your time, check me out.
60 minutes. Oof.
Check out online classes with Big.
Yeah.
And shows and performances.
Shows,
Indeed.
yeah.
Such as this
Yeah.
one.
I have nothing going on, so just go see what they have.
Maggie.
I also have been making very stupid videos on my Facebook.
Love them. She's an influencer. Fen for life.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So dumb. So stupid.
I love it.
It's what we need right now.
Carrie, what you got going on?
Me, this podcast.
Yeah.
AKA live stream.
Yeah. I'm backed up on getting them out there, but Carrie and I are still playing Dungeons and Dragons. The latest episode, we've just added Sheila McMenamin and Scott Lichter to the bunch. It was such a delightful and ridiculous episode. I'm going on spring break, so maybe I'll actually get them out to you. But keep an eye out for that. It's called Just Roll With It. It's a D&D game where we teach Carrie how to play D&D, and we just do a bunch of improv.
Get to see me learn in real time.
Yeah.
But also a lot of improv.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, so check that out. And thanks.
Thank you for are we good?
Yeah.
Mike, anything you want to
anything I would have to plug, it would be like there's other improv things going on. So rather than plug other things on Big's channel, I'll just say check out what Big is doing. And then there are other improv things happening as well that if you bump into those as well. But it seems inappropriate to start plugging other things.
There is improv in the world.
There's improv in the world.
And thank you for taking your time, getting Biggie with it with us today.
Everything you want to know about Big, like how to take our online workshops or classes, or how to hire us for online training or events, you can find at bigimprov.org.
Yes, and don't swing by the theater quite yet at 1727 North Charles Street, because we aren't there. So just swing by our online presence and catch us there. And that is our new ending.
That is our new ending. Stay home, wash your hands. Thank you for coming by and learning about real people who love making things up on stage. Isn't that what you say, Carrie?
You got it.
Something like that. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.